Hey guys, welcome to Fun Powder Country. Today's video, because it's cold, rainy, and damp outside, we are going to be playing around with this. It is a project that I've been looking forward to for the last couple months. I did a short recently that did very well. There is a very large amount of interest in this weapon. This is an 1863 Remington contract rifle, also known as a Zouave. Um, I am not all that familiar with the history of these, but this particular one is a replica made by Miroku in Japan. And this is still in semi rough form, so it's going to have to be finished. So today, that's what we're going to be working on. We're just going to do a little bit of polishing, brushing up. If I feel like it, I'll go ahead and blue the barrel and probably oil the stock and let that finish because it's not that far from being. There's a ton of people out there who like this. So if I've piqued your interest with how to finish this thing, stay tuned. If not, stay to the end to at least see the final product. And don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Don't forget to comment your thoughts down below. And let's get into it. Step one, we're going to remove the ramrod, which is simple. You just pull it out of its housing. And we're going to set that over there. Next step, go back here, just behind the hammer. We're going to undo this screw. Okay. Now that we've got that screw up, set it to the side, put the gun to half cock. With the gun at half cock, we're going to go ahead and start taking these barrel bands off, where we're going to depress the spring right there. Push the band forward, rotate around the bayonet lug and front sight. Going to set that down. Going to try to remember the orientation that it was in. Same deal with this. We're going to depress the spring and push the barrel band forward. Okay. And at that point, we can just lift this out of the stock, just like that. So that's disassembly. Super, super easy, especially for cleaning purposes. My kind of project right here, guys. So, gonna get that out of the way. We're gonna put this back so that we don't lose it. It is very important to make sure that we lose nothing. Spare parts for these are hard to come by, and when you can find them, they are expensive. So, first step in this project, we're going to need some sandpaper. We are going to need some Scotch-Brite, a Brillo pad, something of that sort that's abrasive. Now, when we're finishing the stock, first thing we're going to want to do is just kind of feel around for any rough areas. Right now, it's already pretty good, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to go to the 220 grit sandpaper, which is the finest that's in this pack. It doesn't feel like the rest of the stock is in too rough shape, so we should only need one sheet of this super fine paper. Okay, we're also going to go ahead, before doing any other sanding, we're going to go ahead and take that lock plate off. So just going to very safely and cautiously take these screws out. Unfortunately, as great as this universal kit is, the screwdriver has a lot of issues, primarily in the bits that come with. Um, they are not special gunsmith screwdrivers. So that might be the next big upgrade that I make on my toolkit. So we're going to keep track of these, set those to the side just like that. When I pop this, it is really locked in there. Don't be too rough with these guys. They can be a touch on the fragile side. So my first screw, throw back right there where it belongs. Same with this one, just to keep track of everything. Because as I said, you don't want to lose any of this. I see some rust right here from the previous owner. I'm probably going to go ahead and clean all this up here in a little bit. But first, let's get back to what we were doing. Looks like they were doing pretty well as far as getting most of this finished out. So because I want to go ahead and get the brass furniture taken care of as well, I could just go ahead and start sanding over that as well. Because our goal is not to take anything off with this sanding. We're just trying to take any rough edge and splinter off the surface. So now that we are done sanding, getting everything down nice and soft, even, we're going to go ahead and start applying our oil. In this case, True Oil by Birchwood. This is a relatively safe oil to mess with. You're going to apply it directly from the bottle, and then you're just going to wipe it either with your hands or with a cloth. The cloth that I'm using today is just a bit of denim material. You're just going to wipe it, buff it up and down. And you're not so much wanting this to dry, you're wanting it to absorb and create a protective layer. So pour it as liberally as you think that you'll need. Be generous in the amounts that you put in. Don't put too much because you're going to need some for later when you go to buff it. Now, there is the option that if you want to, you can stain this before putting your oil. But I kind of like the natural finish without having to rely on a stain. I kind of want the wood to show. And because wood never truly dies, all you're doing is keeping it healthy. Because oil is a type of moisture that will not allow the wood to rot. And look at how nice that is. Oh, guys, the footage is not doing this justice as to how nice this is actually turning out. Because the texture of the grain is really showing through. That is looking absolutely lovely. Now, this whole process is going to take a few hours because as this coat starts to set in and it really starts to absorb, I'm going to have to go and buff it with some steel wool to get the fibers to break up and accept more oil. And what this does, this whole process just allows for the finish to last longer. And there are some of you in the comments wondering, why didn't I take the brass furniture off? Well, because one of the benefits of leaving this on is the wood is going to expand when it takes on this moisture. I want the brass furniture to be there so that when the wood does start to expand, it'll join to the furniture without me having to really do anything extra. That is darkening up very nicely. But it's not getting too terribly dark. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm going to have to let this sit for 2 hours to set up and to cure before I finally actually get to any of the other fun parts of the process. Now, while we're letting that dry and cure, set the rag pretty close to there. While we're letting that sit and cure, we're going to play with our other brass fittings. And as you can see, these still have some of their rough cast marks. So I'm just going to go in here with my sandpaper, and I'm just going to go over the top of it. I'm going to soften these sharp edges on the outside, because when this goes back on the gun, if it's still sharp, it'll chip and cut away any of the finish that I'm wanting to make. So we'll go ahead. It's really starting to pretty up. Now, just, I don't know, kind of feeling like I'm going to need to go up a little bit on this. It's looking a lot better now. It's looking much, much better. This next part, which we can get done super fast, is we're going to blue the barrel. Right now it's in the white, which is perfectly fine, but that's a bit too shiny for my taste. Now, even though it'll be blue, it'll still give off some level of reflection. I'm not too terribly worried about that, but I do need a protective finish on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some birchwood casey, and I'm going to cold blue this. The process is going to look as such. I'm going to take it, I'm going to degrease it with some isopropyl alcohol. We'll do that real quick. This is to degrease and get rid of any excess oil that may be on the piece. Now that all that alcohol is on there, we're going to rub it off with a rag. This rag we're going to keep handy because this process is going to be repeated several times. Word to the wise, wear gloves. And please, if you do not have a mask, do this in an environment that is fully controlled with a lot of moving air. Because the fumes from this treatment are not only horrible smelling, they are terrible for your health. So be smart. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, pay somebody else to do it for you. Might want to shake that up. It's been a long time since I've used it. Oh, I hate the smell of this stuff. I hate the smell of this stuff so bad. Okay. You're going to want to apply it as evenly as possible. All this is a controlled rust. You are essentially force rusting this material. I kind of like the patina that we've achieved in such a little amount of time, but I think we're going to keep going. As you can tell, it is no longer in the white. It is turned to a patina of sorts. Looks weathered, looks antiqued. We could stop here if we wanted, but I don't think that's enough of a protective finish. So we'll use the alcohol again to help get rid of all the extra moisture that's on there. Again, this is a slow process, guys, so if you are not patient in the slightest, please do not attempt to do this. You will cause more harm than good. That's a hard thing to defend when you ruin something as pretty as this. See how quickly that's turning? By the time that I'm done with this coat, I'll be ready to use some steel wool to buff. And remember, guys, to neutralize this reaction, you only need water and oil. Birchwood Casey is one of the most forgiving of the bluing agents that you can use. So if you guys need my recommendation for a means of bluing a kit gun or something like that, use birch wood. Take your time. Take an afternoon or an evening where you've got nothing planned, where you've got no hurries, no rush, and that'll be more than sufficient to get what you need done. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little something about the significance of this weekend. On this weekend, namely tomorrow, 12th of April, Saturday, 2025, it's the Passover. And for any of you who are clueless as to what the Passover is and what it represents, it goes back to our sponsor, Jesus. And it also goes back to one of his ancestors, Moses. Tale of Passover goes back even to the beginning of time, when we read about Adam and Eve in the garden. It's written that a sacrifice was made even back then after they sinned, and the Lord clothed them, Adam and Eve, with the skin and fur of a lamb. Now fast forward to the time of Moses in the Exodus. When the Israelites were suffering under Pharaoh, God heard them from up high, and thus began an epic quest where God sent Moses to deliver the Israelites from the hand of Pharaoh. Now, most people stop there, but I'm going to take it a step further. On the night when each household took a lamb to sacrifice to cover their home, there was a specific reason why they did this. It was because there was a destroying angel that was going to descend on Egypt. And that angel, every house that it passed over, killed the firstborn of that house, save those that had the blood of the lamb on the doorpost. Jesus is that lamb to all believers who claim to be under his banner. And there is a day coming where only those that will stand will be those who are covered by the blood of Jesus. Now, many of you are wondering why I'm bringing this up. And I'm not trying to preach, guys. I genuinely love everyone out there, which is why I emphasize in every single video that the sponsor of our videos is Jesus, the Son of the living God, the Prince of Peace, the King of Kings. And I want to share that knowledge with everybody, because not a single Israelite, I don't think that a single Israelite really wished that the firstborn of every Egyptian household would die. I don't honestly believe that any of them wanted that. Were any of them in the know? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I want to know if any of them were in the know as to what was going to happen that night. But because I am in the know, I want to warn everybody that Judgment Day is coming. It is important to be prepared, because I want to see as many of you come to heaven with me as possible. I don't want to leave any of y'all behind. I love y'all as if you were my own kin. So, if you guys have been paying attention thus far, the coat is looking fantastic right now. Yeah, guys, I think I'm pretty close to done, to be honest with you. I like that pretty good. Even if it's more of a patina towards the end, I actually really like this. So let's rinse this off and see what it looks like. Let's try it. Yeah, I kind of like that. I actually like that a lot. Yeah, guys, that looks pretty. So now that we're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and oil this. Okay, my choice of oil to penetrate and preserve this is going to be Deep Creep by Seafoam. Application is just a simple squirt on, just a simple squirt and wipe. And if I decide that that's not a good enough coat, I can fix it later. But for now, we're going to let that sit with the oil for a few hours. Ah, but take a look at that barrel, y'all. Isn't that nice? And then no stain, just oil. You gotta love it, guys. Process. I really wasn't expecting it to be this short. It's a, it's not an, it's not a fast process getting one of these things prepped and ready to go. Um, if any of you guys have done this before, you'll know. And if any of you guys haven't done, that's me warning you, because it's not as easy as just getting it done. It's being patient to let the process actually work. This is obviously one of the faster ways that it can be done. Is it the best? No, there are better ways. This is a method that is reserved for if you need it done and you need it done right, but you need it done in a hurry, or if you want it to be ready to go within 24 hours. That's the general rule of this method. And I think the results speak for themselves on this, because that's a pretty sweet finish. I actually rather like that. What this does is it reinforces the coat that you put, but it also takes away the tackiness. When I say tackiness, I mean stickiness. There is a sticky layer of all the stuff that you've put on there. And so think of whenever you're polishing shoes, wax on, wax off. It's pretty much the same process as waxing a car or spit polishing your shoes. Same process, similar steps, different ingredients. And of course, I may end up finishing this with some wax sometime in the future. But for now, let's go ahead and finish the project. So to finish this off, I'm going to take my handy screwdriver. I'll wipe the handle off. There was some crud on there. We'll go ahead. We'll take that screw out so we can go ahead and look at putting all this back together again. The barrel, I am going to, before I put it back on, I'm going to go ahead and run some more oil on it just to be on the safe side. And as I told you guys, if I ever need to, I can revisit this. Because there are better ways of bluing a barrel. I just really happened to like this. Okay, now that that's on, we can go ahead and throw the barrel bands in place. What do you guys make of that? Will you guys please let me know how I did in the comments section? I feel like I did pretty good.